Marlon Chin had always dreamed of working for a major tech company in the United States. After graduating from National Taiwan University with top honors in computer science, his dream came true when he received an offer from a Silicon Valley giant. The first few years were intense. Marlon worked tirelessly, often staying late into the night debugging code and leading project teams. His dedication paid off, and within 5 years he was promoted to middle management. However, despite his technical expertise and consistent performance, further advancement seemed out of reach. One evening, during dinner with his friend David Liu, a senior executive at another tech company, Marlon voiced his frustration. "I don't understand," Marlon said, stirring his noodles absently. "I deliver results. My team meets every deadline. But I can't seem to break through to senior management." David set down his chopsticks and looked at his friend thoughtfully. "Let me ask you something, Marlon. In meetings, how often do you speak up about your achievements?" Marlon frowned. "I prefer to let my work speak for itself. It feels uncomfortable to broadcast my accomplishments." "That's exactly what I thought," David nodded. "Look, I was in your position 10 years ago. We were raised to be humble, to put the group before ourselves. But in American corporate culture, if you don't advocate for yourself, nobody else will." "But isn't that being arrogant?" Marlon asked. "It's not about being arrogant," David explained. "It's about being visible. Americans value individual initiative and assertiveness. When you stay quiet in meetings, they don't see it as being humble. They interpret it as lack of leadership potential." This conversation was a wake-up call for Marlon. Over the next few months, he began implementing changes in his approach. He started speaking up more in meetings, not just about technical matters, but sharing his strategic vision for his department. Initially, it felt unnatural, but he pushed through the discomfort. He began scheduling regular one-on-one meetings with senior executives, something he had previously avoided to not bother them. During these meetings, he would discuss his team's achievements and his ideas for company growth. "I noticed your team's new security protocol implementation saved us significant resources," his VP mentioned during one such meeting. "Yes," Marlon replied, fighting his instinct to downplay it. "I led that initiative after identifying potential vulnerabilities in our system. My team's solution has reduced security incidents by 40% while cutting response time in half." He also worked on his presentation style. Instead of his usual reserved demeanor, he practiced speaking with more energy and conviction. He enrolled in a public speaking course and joined Toastmasters to improve his communication skills. "Your presentation style has really evolved," a colleague commented after a quarterly review meeting. "You owned that room today." Marlon smiled, remembering how nervous he used to be. "Thanks. I've been working on it." The most challenging change was learning to navigate workplace politics. Rather than viewing it negatively as he had before, he began to see it as relationship building. He started joining colleagues for lunch more often and attended company social events he would have previously skipped. During one such lunch, he overheard a major new initiative the company was planning. Drawing on his new confidence, he reached out to the project leader. "I've been thinking about the challenges we might face with the new initiative," he said. "I have some ideas I'd like to share." His proactive approach led to him being assigned as one of the key leaders of the project. The initiative's success caught the attention of senior management. 2 years after his conversation with David, Marlon was promoted to Senior Vice President of Technology. During his promotion celebration, his CEO praised not just his technical abilities, but his leadership qualities and strategic vision. Later that evening, he called David to share the news. "Congratulations," David exclaimed. "How does it feel?" "Different from what I expected," Marlon replied. "You know what's interesting? I worried that becoming more assertive would mean losing myself. But instead, I found a way to blend both cultures. I'm still me, just a more confident version." "That's exactly it," David said. "Success in a different culture doesn't mean abandoning your values. It's about learning to express them in a way that translates." Marlon thought about his journey as he looked out his office window at the San Francisco skyline. He had learned that true leadership wasn't about changing who you are, but about finding your authentic voice in a new context. His Asian values of hard work, humility, and consideration for others remained core to his leadership style. He had just learned to express them in a way that resonated within American corporate culture. That evening, he wrote an email to his team. Success comes not from changing who you are, but from learning new ways to let your true self shine. Never be afraid to speak up, but never forget the wisdom that shaped you. 单字 Silicon Valley 美国加州的矽谷 Noun An area in Northern California where there are many companies that make or use computer materials and electronic devices. Advocate 拥护支持 Verb To publicly support or suggest an idea, development, or way of doing something. Assertiveness 果断 Noun The quality of being confident and not frightened to say what you want or believe.